Hey, what up guys? So we're back with another Star Citizen video. If you're new channel, welcome. Today we're going to be checking out another Morphologis video. So shout out and credit goes to Morphologis for this vid. It is called An Architect Reviews the Corsair Star Citizen. Now, just looking at the thumbnail, the Corsair, I do remember seeing the ship many times recently on several other videos like now, IE20, I forgot which IE was, but it was one of the IE videos from Whitley's Guide, and also just a few other videos here and there. And I was like, okay, finally piqued my interest, and I want to take a look into it. So let's see what Morphologis has to say about it, its strengths, weaknesses, flaws, designs, everything. So without anything else, let's just jump into the video.
This is the Drake Corsair, Star Citizen's latest big ship to debut, complete with enough firepower to make even a UE gunship blush with envy, making it undoubtedly the new favorite of those looking to do some make unsolicited cargo inspections of their fellow citizens. Drake doesn't officially like being associated with the Grim Hex crowd, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, so I finally started understanding a lot more of the companies and the purposes and what they're known for. But it looks like Drake Interplanetary is really known for like pirates, association with pirates and just piracy, smuggling, things like that.
What I mean. So shortly, in this latest installment of An Architect Reviews, I'll take you through why I think it's asymmetrical.
So you guys know what's that ship? That ship, I don't know what the ship is called, but it was shown a lot of time in the Clone Wars and was used by Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka several times, like the big freight ship. The one on the right, the wing sticking out on the right, kind of reminds me of that. I don't know what that ship is called, but if you guys know what I mean, you know what I mean. So it has like one wing sticking out on the right, just like this, but has like a wing sticking out at the bottom as well. So there's nothing on the sides.
Symmetrical silhouette is one of the most successful and iconic designs to date from
Kind of looks like a
CIG's
B-wing
design
as
house.
well from
And then we'll take a step
Star
on
Wars,
deck
the Rebel
and
Alliance.
see what accommodations Drake has made for its lucky crew of 4. Oh, and if you stay tuned until a little bit later in the video, you can also find out how you'll have a chance to win a custom nameable Corsair Star Citizen game package with lifetime insurance, so make sure you look out for that. But just in case you want to prevent any unsolicited personal info inspections, you might want to check out the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN. It's been used in
Alright, skip a little bit.
for free with their 30-day. On approach, the Corsair in its
exterior
landed
design.
form is easily one of the most interesting and iconic looking ships in Star Citizen. It actually reminds me of the Mantis from Jedi Fallen Order. That game is awesome, by the way, and if you don't know, I've got a video on my channel.
Yeah, hey, Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, if you guys haven't seen, the gameplay is on my channel, so go check it out. I might actually play again later in the future because I really love Star Wars. And at the time when I played it, I didn't really have like a big audience, so maybe I will start playing other games here and there. Who knows?
Channel that kind of talks about its architecture, so check it out. Its gigantic wings and their folded position feel suggestive of something like old sailing ships, which feels appropriate for the name Corsair. Even the rear of the ship with the way it tapers upward reminds me of a sailing ship's stern. I wonder if this was intentional. If so, bravo by the designer. That's a really cool suggestion. But the real special look comes from when the Corsair deploys its massive wings, especially when you examine it from an angle where you can see its asymmetry. Rather, I should say appreciate its asymmetry. Asymmetry in design, if you guys don't know, is like sliding the difficulty slider all the way up to max. It's really hard to pull off successfully. And that's why I think I'm blown away by just how well CIG's ship team has pulled off the Corsair here. It feels like the hero ship in a movie I really want to see. The folding animation is also impressive. As someone who studied mechanical engineering before switching to architecture in university, I absolutely love the way the hinge slides along the big wing to tuck it a bit closer to the engine array. And that someone actually spent time trying to make this look believable. How cool is that? I mean, I can't help but geek out about these things in ships that Star Citizen does.
Hey, I don't blame you. I'm geeking out too.
Really impressively detailed, with a signature orange-red thruster glow and articulated nozzles that actually move when you hit the afterburner. It gives the impression of power. Interesting fact, by the way, pointed out by Mike Philibin on Twitter, is that they actually have to produce over 1,000 metric tons of thrust just to overcome the mass inertia of the Corsair to lift off. That's surely enough to flatten anyone standing under the ship, so just be careful of that if you're watching this thing take off. On closer inspection at the exterior, the ship is also chocked full of awesome details that shouldn't be overlooked. Like, I really particularly love these banding details along the hull. It gives the sense that there's an underlying structure, which visually is supported by these rivets and panels that make it feel like this was put together, that, you know, there's some story behind its manufacture. It makes it feel tangible, makes it feel like it could be made in the real world. And I think these smaller details, as well as the wider ship's form, really start to bring to mind a powerful design tool that I suspect CIG's artists have employed with the Corsair and even other ships. Academically, it's referred to as narrative design theory, and that's a little bit dry, so I think I want to explain it a little bit more simply as just using narrative or a story to inform a design. So let me explain. In the context of Star Citizen, by imagining a story behind the design, such as, say, cultural origins of the ship's manufacturer, what designers want to suggest with how the ship could be used, and the economics of how it's manufactured, can all play a role in informing how CIG's designers assemble the design in whatever programs that they use to make it feel right in the lore and fictional universe of Star Citizen. It's important to note here, though, that this kind of idea is applicable to pretty much anything in design, so if you're looking to do architecture or furniture, it's absolutely useful. In instances where it's utilized correctly, it can make for a really compelling result that really connects with users, evoking memories and connections that the person who's looking at it might be familiar with. So then going back to what I said earlier in the video about how the wings look like sails when the ship's landed, you can see how they're trying to give this idea that it's an old sailing ship, or at least suggest it subconsciously. They're using this narrative here to evoke these connections so that you associate it with fast, light, but well-armed sailing ships of the old sailing ship days that pirates might have used.
Well, then again, Drake Interplanetary has been... the word pirate has been used around with Drake Interplanetary a lot, so it would make sense that that kind of design would come off on this kind of ship, as he said, kind of like a sailing ship. But I really like it. The color on it right now, the yellow and the black, really great. And man, the amount of guns that you see at the front and side is crazy too. And I like how this one is also unique in a way when it comes to like the shape of it with the wingspan, and how like there's two flaps on the left and just one flat wing on the right. I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong words. I just don't know the right terms to use here. But however, it's a really cool looking ship in my opinion. I really like it. And yeah, like he said, the Mantis would actually be a really good example from Jedi Fallen Order. I just can't believe I didn't think of that ship. But it also kind of looks like a B-Wing from Star Wars as well, like the Rebel Alliance used. But the B-Wings, because I'm like, if you know the ship, when it does not open its wing, it's flat as... Whoa, I hit the mic. It's flat as well. But however, when it opens, then the wings are kind of like in a cross sign. But then again, unique designs are really cool.
I mean, it couldn't be more obvious, right? With the name Corsair, that's exactly what a Corsair is, or was rather. They don't exist anymore. But now you can probably see how powerful design can be to inform you of its purpose without just telling you outright. Yeah, the name is Corsair, but looking at this ship, I think you could probably say you get the sense of what they're trying to communicate. I look on this then as a super successful design. It's not just good, it's great. All right, class dismissed. I digress. Let's get back to maybe some more pragmatic things like the features of the ship's exterior.
I know, that was a history lesson right there.
You'll have control of 4 size 4 gimbaled laser cannons mounted on size 5 hardpoints, with an additional 2 outboard wing-mounted size 3 cannons, all on size 4 hardpoints. Together, they're capable in this gimbaled stock form of delivering 2,559 DPS downrange, and as you guessed it, quite a bit more if you swap them all out for size 5s and 4s. But be warned, swapping guns out in the Corsair for fixed guns really makes it hard to aim, as the turn rate on the Corsair makes it hard to hit anything smaller than a Connie, so it's not recommended. Moving one seat back, the co-pilot has access to a remote turret in the rear section of the ship, equipped with 2 size 2 repeaters that can even face forward to hit targets with the pilot. And as you might have noticed, it's also got 2 turrets. They're both equipped with size 2s, and they can fire forward with the pilot, combining all the firepower of the ship up together to go over an insane 4,000 DPS sustained. Throw some 8 size 3 missiles in there, and you've got a recipe for enough firepower to take down a hammerhead if you get the jump on it, and that's impressive. For the internals, it comes with a single size 3 shield, 2 size 2 power plants, 2 size 2 coolers, and a size 2 quantum drive. This makes the Corsair quite a bit more tanky than you might suspect, but the Corsair isn't perfect. While it has the potential to deal more DPS than the days until Squadron 42 is released, its 2 side turrets have a surprisingly limited range of motion, not being able to face backwards and having very limited upward and downward range. That means that anybody who gets just slightly behind you is going to be out of your firing arc. And while the aft remote turret can cover most of the rear, it has a huge blind spot just below the cargo ramp that skilled light fire pilots can slide into, which is going to mean death if it's not countered quickly by a skilled pilot.
So that is the Corsair's biggest flaw. There's a huge blind spot, and if people exploit it, then it's over. But besides that, it has a lot of guns, has a lot of range of motion, and a lot of firepower, as we just saw. But yeah, that one small weakness could be the end of it.
So while the Corsair can be formidable in PvP situations, it's not really the kind of ship you want to get in a turning battle with an experienced pilot in. It's not really the meta yet, and we'll just have to see how the flight model rework puts it later this year, because I really hope to see it more often in actual combat. Now, before we move on to the interior, it's time I snuck in the giveaway rules here for those of you who've actually stuck around this far, because believe it or not many do, and I want to give this ship away to somebody who actually wants to watch my videos. So this is kind of a thank you to you guys. So if you want to be eligible to win, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed to my...
So to be honest, guys, lately I've been saving money here and there, and I was thinking about doing giveaways now. But the problem is I just don't know what to give away. I don't know, maybe like cash up someone, or because I want to do something more than just a shout out. That's why. If you guys have any ideas like what I should do like on a giveaway, like maybe get someone a copy of a certain game, or I was thinking about maybe live streaming one day soon, so maybe I could do something like that. But as for right now, I just don't really know what to give away, but I'm still looking into it.
My channel, and then post in the comment section what you see yourself doing with the Corsair. It would also be really cool if you could share this video somewhere on social media, but that's not really required. It's not going to increase your odds. I would just really appreciate it. So if you've done those things, I'll randomly select one of you guys from the comment section a week within posting the video. I'll reply to you if you've won directly with my official account, which will have a check mark right next to my name, so you'll know that it's my account and not some scammer. And that's really important, guys. You have to look for the check mark, because there are scammers out there, and they've been in quite a few of my comment sections. I've been making efforts to ban them, but they keep making new accounts, so watch out for that. You have to look for the check mark. But now it's time to step on deck and take a look at the Corsair's interior. Impressively, the Corsair actually has 4 ingress points, which is good when you know that...
So far, I really like the exterior. I mean, it looks great and everything besides that blind spot, but besides that, it looks really cool.
You might be shot at when you exit, which, let's be honest, if you're flying a Corsair, probably happens pretty often. One of those entrances has a pretty neat party trick too, and it's the one closest to the flight deck on the Corsair's forward starboard side. Press a button and the lift is revealed through a sleek folding door. Once on it, you'll find 3 physical levers which are actually animated, an awesome little detail by the way, which I absolutely love. I love the analog nature of Drake ships. Pulling the middle lever will bring you to the ship's interior as you probably expected, but pulling the 3rd lever on the left brings you to the roof. This offers some pretty fun possibilities, but also some tactical advantages. Think, for example, if you're exiting your ship on a planet's surface where you know there might be somebody waiting to ambush you. Now you've got the high ground to shoot down at them. There are also 2 other entrance points, one being the docking ring and the other being the most obvious, the cargo bay at the most rear, but we'll look at that a little bit later. Returning to the interior from the forward lift, it exits on the habitation area for the crew. Here, crew can take meals in a generously sized mess hall, complete with a dispensary and a nicely sized table just off center in the room and out of the way of the main circulation path down the main axis of the ship. And thankfully, the designers over at Drake have deemed the Corsair fit to have its own head, something that the Cutlass Black is sorely lacking. Notably though, it's the only one on the ship, so no captain's head sadly for those of you looking for that. The interior is
Okay, so only one bathroom.
design though is authentically Drake, a bare-bones design language that reveals wiring, bulkheads, welds, and rivets, but I find that this is
that's
a
the
charming
toilet?
aspect of Drake's design language. It's not a place for soft-handed Microtech pencil pushers. It's a place for hard folk who don't need any thrills to get their job done. At least that's the story I get the feeling that they're trying to tell.
Okay, so basically what he's saying right now with the interior design is it's not really built for comfort, or if you guys are uncomfortable, then this is not for you. This is just, let's get the job done. We're not looking for a comfortable environment or something like that. So I get it that it may not be for everyone then.
One thing that misses the mark here, though, is the lighting. I feel like there is something incomplete with this space, especially near the dispensary area where I need my flashlight to actually look at this space. And in case you're wondering, no, there aren't any light switches to turn on lights here. There just aren't any lights.
Really?
Definitely feels strange. And sadly, this lighting issue is something that you're going to see pop up throughout this ship's interior design. Moving on, though, just
Man, you gotta
across
turn on
from
a
the communal
flashlight just to
space
get a
are
tray?
well-positioned main crew cabins, which feel appropriate for the programmatic organization of the ship. It connects to a communal space where you'd want to hang out after, taking a nap or, changing out shifts. However,
Not bad.
upon examining one of these crew cabins, you might find yourself surprised to find it quite a bit more spacious than you might have expected.
Hence the
In
not
comparison to
bad.
other vessels like the Constellation or Redeemer, it feels positively luxurious. Of course, nothing about the finish of the space is luxurious. It's like sleeping in a half-complete framed house, but it's Drake, so that's what you should expect. Each cabin is pretty much identical, including the captain's quarters, which is maybe just a little bit smaller and the bed's rotated. They come with a suit storage locker and a foot locker that is actually independent of the ship's standard local inventory, so you've got a little bit of privacy there. The full crew complement listed on the Corsair officially is 4, but I personally think it might have been a good idea to double up at least 2 of these cabins for an additional engineer and marine, especially considering we've just gotten soft.
So kind of like maybe a bunk, like a bunk bed, just double up. I mean, it does kind of look spacious, and if we remove that, whatever that is, it kind of looks like a cargo net at the top. Then maybe we could put at least another bunk bed. But sharing with someone in that kind of like small space could be a little challenging at some times. But then again, so far what I've been seeing on the Corsair is it's not really designed for comfort.
Death, which enables us to board other ships, and we're soon going to get multi-crew engineering gameplay, which I think having another crew member do would be great instead of trying to pull somebody off a turret. It feels like a missed opportunity then. Moving further aft, just connected to the communal space, is a mechanical space that gives access to various functional components of the Corsair. You might call this an engineering bay. The space is octagonal in floor plan, which makes it a bit unique, with the quantum drive featured prominently in the center, with various other subcomponents arrayed around each wall. One thing that kind of bothers me a little bit though is the cable management on the ceiling. It kind of feels like a mistake. I know it was done for the rule of cool, but I think they went a little bit too far on that side, and they should have made some cable management, like racks or something to make it feel a little bit more like a manufactured ship as opposed to like a custom job, but that's just me. Halfway then through the left side of this space, you'll find yourself in a docking collar space. Here, just like the mess hall though, the light switch doesn't work near the door, which is frustrating. You can activate the lights though by hitting the light switch near the airlock, strangely enough, so it's not super intuitive. The space is decently lit once you actually get the lights on, which reveals a set of 4 suit lockers and a bunch of gun racks. And interestingly, 2 large gun racks capable of holding some heavier hardware like railguns and rocket launchers, which are perfect for favorable negotiations. The airlock animation itself is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, what was that quote from Star Wars? Aggressive negotiations. Anakin Skywalker and Padme did say that in Geonosis. Aggressive negotiations.
Cool, but cooler even still are the mechanical levers for operating the doors. Again, the designers have done a really good job here of making the space feel believable with its mechanicals, and I want to see more stuff like this on future Drake ships. Moving all the way aft, you'll find yourself finally in the Corsair's generously sized cargo bay. Without the up to 2 cyclone rovers that you can fit in here, the space is capable of supporting 72 SCU of cargo. Technically, it's less than the RSI Constellation, but in terms of volume, it provides a lot more flexibility to squeeze a little bit more in there if you want. In case you're wondering though, no, it can't fit a tank, it's just a little bit too low for it.
I legit thought a tank was it was about to just like fit in there, but like have no space at all. But
likewise, the design feels consistent with past Drake designs like the Cutlass and Caterpillar, featuring exposed mechanicals, components, structure.
Oh, the Drake Caterpillar is one of the ships that is next on my list, but I just don't know when to get to it because one of you did ask me to check out the Caterpillar, so don't worry, it's on there. But right now there's other videos that I want to get to because some people have requested them a long time ago.
Structure and insulation, which, as I've said before countless times, I absolutely love. The cargo door is also a pretty nice party trick, folding out mechanically with a very satisfying whine and clunk of gears and hydraulics, and has a really cool feature that I hope to see in other upcoming ships, which are floodlights for the rear area of the ship outside. It's great for illuminating, loading cargo, or identifying hostile threats that might be camped out at your most vulnerable area of the ship. This is the biggest entrance and it's hardest to protect people from running on board. But now let's take a peek at where all the action
because it's pretty wide and there's no
happens,
cover,
which I'm sure many of you have been itching to see. Moving forward from the habitation area in the ship, you'll find yourself in an area dedicated to 2 turrets on either left and right side. These lead to seats that are appropriately bare bones Drake. Not uncomfortable looking, but certainly not luxurious. Perfect. The turrets offer a decent visibility level, though with a limited range that I talked about earlier in the video, which leads to some pretty bad blind spots. Forward, once again though, we'll finally find ourselves on the bridge or the flight deck, whichever you prefer to call it. Just to the left of the entrance is a slightly smaller version of the crew cabins that we saw further aft, and ahead of that is a spacious flight deck with an...
Man, look at the chair designs. It looks like it's just all metal. It looks like the most durable chairs ever.
Interesting vertical crew seating arrangement for the pilot and co-pilot. The arrangement though is only revealed by sitting at that rear co-pilot seat, which brings you down through a mechanical contraption to a lower canopy with a great view to below what the pilot can see.
That's actually
Here
really
you
cool.
now have a great view of what's below the ship, and you get access to the rearmost remote turret. Right now though, there's not much else you can do in this position, but I suspect in future this will be a secondary piloting position and maybe even capable of controlling the lower 2 size 4s, but we'll see. With that position out of the way, we're finally left with the most important part, the captain's seat or the pilot's seat. In typical Drake fashion, the MFDs and switches are all analog and mechanical feeling. They feel ancient but satisfying with toggle switches and levers that really feel like they do something
green
when
screen.
you flip them. Some of them actually work too. They're animated, like the lever to deploy and retract the wings. Dang cool. There's also a cool little secret MFD to the lower right on the floor if you look for it, and it actually works. I don't know why they did this, but it's a cool little Easter egg. Here visibility isn't too bad, with the struts being minimally obstructive. Views to below though aren't super great, so you have to rely on your co-pilot to spot what's below you. The ship flies also in a pretty predictably heavy way, responding slowly to commands to change heading, which is why the Corsair isn't particularly great with dealing with small ships by itself. And despite its shortcomings, it's a joy to fly and awesome when you punch the accelerator to get up to its top speed, which isn't great, but it does accelerate pretty quickly up to it. Overall then, I think the Corsair design, especially from its exterior, is fantastic. It's iconic and I love it. But the only thing that really comes to mind that keeps it from a perfect score is the incomplete feeling interior. To me, it seems like the designers ran out of time to really flesh out some of the lighting properly, and I think that they even forgot to do some of the switches. There's also some inconsistency with the crew cabin sizes versus other ships in the Drake lineup, but I think there was a missed opportunity here to add a few more beds and
that's cool.
form. Were these issues to be addressed, I think that I would easily rate this as one of the best ships I've reviewed on my channel. But what do you think? Are you eager to get one of these yourselves now? Let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, if you liked the video and you want to see more, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And I hope to see you guys in the next one.
All right, so that was the Corsair, and I gotta say that was an amazing ship. Overall, from what I've been seeing, the exterior and interior design is great, but one major flaw I see in the exterior design is that blind spot from all the gunfire, and if exploited, then the ship is pretty much toast. But one common thing I keep on seeing overall in the Corsair is lack of crew accommodations. Like, for instance, the lighting is very dark in there. One bathroom pretty much for the entire crew and all that. So I say that's like one of the downfall, and I don't want to say downfall actually, one of the negative points of the Corsairs. But besides that, I say it's a really cool looking ship. And personally, if I did play this game, that would be one of the ships that I really want. That's just me personally. But what do you guys think? Would you guys have this ship yourself? Please put it down in the comments below. So anyways, that's all I got for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. And also shout out to all my members, subscribers, viewers. You guys are amazing. You guys are the reason why this channel keeps on going. So I really do appreciate it. So without anything else, I'll see you guys next time.